All right. Morning, maybe not good morning, but morning to everybody who's joining us today. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is February 24th, 2022. Let's talk about where we are today. Let's talk about some dynamics that might occur today and talk about what is a likely scenario for the rest of the week. And I'm going to speak as best I can from the technical side, but I'm also going to talk about quantitative and dynamics that the market will likely encounter today and whether or not that is going to affect your decision to trade over the next day or two. Now, before we get into that, we start off with the SPX expected move. One of the reasons we look at this every single week is to understand what dynamics is the market going through week over week. If we're inside the expected move, it's basically business as usual. We look at technicals, we look at areas of opportunity. Is the market bullish or bearish? Is the edge to the upside or the downside? Where's the levels? Where's the risk? Where's the reward, et cetera, et cetera. It's all well and good. We all know that overnight there was a catalyst, the geopolitical risk that's been in the news for a while, that has taken grip of the market and has provided the fear tipping point to, in this case, break the lower bound of the expected move for the week. Now, normally, this would be a scenario where a reversion to the expected move is likely. The expected move is all about statistical probability. It's about where the market tends to close week over week. It's done at the beginning of the week and it's set. Market risk is provided near these bounds. And usually you can get slight breaches away. It can actually provide the opposite effect, sort of a support or resistance zone. If we can return into the expected move, that is often a high probability event. But whenever the market has an alternate thesis or just a breach of a higher probability event, things change. Obviously, there are some dynamics that are starting to take hold, and these dynamics are as such. We started off yesterday with the volatility index, or the VIX, under 30. We've been discussing how over the past couple of days, the VIX has been bumping into this 30 print, but hasn't really closed above. We've seen attempts, spike highs, even opens much higher and then fades. And these are often days where the market has a bit of a covering rally or just a more bullish tone into the close. Yesterday, it was looking like this could have been possible. If we look at the short term, we see that there were bumps above 30. There were sort of tests and attempts to claim 30. Lots of backing away from this price. But as we started to close at the lows yesterday, the market did see a breakout in the VIX terminology above 30. And this, of course, led into our overnight session where we did have this announcement of invasion inside of Ukraine. And this is causing the market to spike in volatility. Now, classic example here, this is our fear index. So it is worth mentioning that the market is quite fearful. I have a 1 year, 1 day view of the VIX right now, and this is essentially the second highest print we've ever seen in the VIX over the past year. So the market is gripped by fear and gripped by volatility. But more importantly, the volatility futures. Once again, just to reiterate here, larger market participants, firms, institutions, usually market-making participants of liquidity, they will often hold short volatility positions. This is due to the fact that a lot of their business revolves around buying and selling of option contracts or products that inherently have a short or negative volatility aspect to them. If you're a long call or a long put buyer, guess what? You are inherently short volatility. It is part of the contract's construction. Every single call or put is short vega. So whenever a market participant goes out and buys a call or buys a put, in the case of some of the most recent bearish activity, they are still forcing liquidity providers to be short volatility, to basically, I did say that wrong. I'm sorry about that. Whenever you're buying a call or a put, you're inherently long volatility. Apologies. Long vega. Market making participants are on the opposite side. They are the ones who are short volatility. I got kind of confused there. Apologies. Now, whenever this happens, whenever you have liquidity providers doing this, they have to hedge off their risk. They want to be directionally neutral. They want to be volatility neutral. And they also want to be sort of time neutral. They have different ways to hedge this risk. One of the easiest things they can do whenever they are hedging off volatility risk is they can sell futures contracts. And more specifically in the S&Ps, since we're talking about the SPX, they can sell ES contracts. They can essentially short the market or just sell away the ES contract, which directly impacts the S&Ps. Now, typically, we see this under the hood. This just happens day in and day out. It doesn't have a lot of impact in regards to what we do. But whenever you get breaches like we're seeing today, where the market is sitting below the expected move. This is the SPX. We are obviously much lower this morning. Last I checked, we were at about 411, 410 in the S&Ps. We're below our expected move. We're almost 2 times outside of it. And what can happen here is that volatility has to be hedged differently. It has to be done dynamically at this point, because oftentimes these firms will find themselves in a position where they are long the short contracts and short the long or the future dated contracts. Because of the inversion, because of the backwardation that's occurring, the dynamic hedging that has to potentially take place today, it's pretty much a guarantee at this point, will continuously spike the volatility until this hedging is over. And what this looks like, if you've never seen this before, we've had it a few weeks prior when the market really started to correct, is that they will sell into selling. The market will essentially feel as if it cannot find its footing. And it'll get to a point where the volume gets extreme. This is where us as technical traders will look for extreme reversals, capitulation, just that high volume event. But understand what's going on. Volatility is being hedged off the market. These firms are essentially saying, we're outside of bounds. We need to do something with our risk. This is a risk that we want to remain neutral upon, and our process for doing so is typically to sell the market. So understand that that can happen today. And what it looks like is a downtrend. It's essentially selling into selling. But it's also going to look as if the market is not trying to pull back. There will be almost little to no bounce on any potential level or inventory or some of the normal things that we look for, sort of the opportunities of interest, the S4 support, demand zone, whatever it happens to be. They will sell through that if they need to. It's just a dynamic. It happens in volatility. It can often mark a bottom. I do want to be frank about that. It happened here. This is what, to some degree, forced the market lower. This dynamic hedging happened for days as we broke expected move. And remember what this looked like in the moment. Obviously, it was a technical breakdown as well, but we broke the expected move, let's say on I think it was Tuesday of this particular week. And then we sold off for 1, 2, 3 more days before we finally found that capitulation bottom. It's not to say that that's going to be as dramatic this time around, but understand that today could be an all-out sell. It could be a dynamic hedging day until firms are comfortable with their risk and until that volatility risk is unwound. We want to be looking for the right signals, but I want to reemphasize here that the volatility is going to be the problem today. It's going to be the challenge. It's what we're going to be fighting. And obviously, if it is a short day, if the market continues to sell off, try and take advantage of that as best as possible. But the range of risk, where to put your stop, how to prepare your position, what instrument you're using. Even think about using options today. Volatility is high. If you're going out and buying calls looking for a reversal or prepping for the next couple weeks, if we get a bounce, the volatility might crush. And your long volatility in the call scenario, even if the market bounces, you'll still be getting hit by volatility contraction. If you buy a put, the idea here is that you're hopefully getting the momentum to the downside, and hopefully with the volatility expansion, obviously if we do continue lower and lower, that will continue. But if we start to reverse, it often will occur very quickly as it's based around that dynamic hedging basically condition of the market. So it's a risk today. Doesn't mean you don't have to trade, but I'm emphasizing it as someone who has seen newer traders or just people who view this as a normal sort of breakdown kind of day. It's going to feel a little different today, more than likely. It's going to be a little bit more extreme. If you're not familiar with that, or if you're uncomfortable in that condition, consider trading smaller. If you're a futures trader, a lot of people are starting to migrate into micro futures contracts. You don't need to be trading in Q and ES if the micros are moving just as dramatically, basically. And we're talking about, massive moves in the normal contracts. Liquidity might be a little wild, especially in the opening auction. People are going to have to re-auction this market. We haven't been to these prices since, we're technically breaking July lows. So we're at sort of 9 to 12 month lows. We're testing back in May. We're somewhere in this range. Market's going to be a little wild, and it's a cause for concern. There's definitely going to be opportunity today. Just know that if you're not familiar on the day trading side, how wild that volatility is, you might get run over a little bit if you don't fully appreciate the volatility that could occur. So opportunity with risk, just kind of a notation for today's trade. Additionally, if we look at some key underlyings, and these are things that have been evolving with the market, one that I'd like to call out, it's just more of a clear picture of what's going on here. Likes of Tesla. Pretty much every technician now is noticing that we're losing our trend line on Tesla. We breached it a couple of weeks prior during the January lows. We found a reversion. There's a bearish channel that Tesla's been trading in for a while. We've discussed this a few times. But on yesterday's session, and specifically past couple of sessions, this particular stock has been testing its 200-day. It's been ramping up in selling volume. This is a warning to those who are trying to buy the dip. If you see this, you want to wait for this to pause in order to set up your sort of reversal setup. And obviously we broke this low, we broke the 200, we broke trend. And what has happened overnight is this market has continued to sell off. We closed about 750, we're opening about 700. It's a dramatic sell-off. Additionally, when you think about Tesla, Tesla moves a little different than most of the other key stocks. It's not necessarily a market cap leader like it used to be. It's not a $1 trillion company anymore. It's actually close to about a $700 to $750 billion company. At yesterday's close, it should have been about 780. So at 700 is probably about 720 to 730 billion. What this means is, for the most part, every dollar move in Tesla is about $1 billion of market cap. If you've ever traded Tesla, you know that Tesla moves 50, in this case, sometimes over 100 points in a session. So that's market cap leaving the S&Ps, or in the opposite way is gaining back into the S&Ps. It's a lot of volatility. And you equate this in similar ways to the highest market cap names that we have, the Apples, the Microsofts, which are also breaking down. They're also selling. This is part of the reason for this this sell-off. These hold a lot more market cap, but they don't move the same. They move slower, which ideally means that if every dollar move in Tesla is, in this case, about $1 billion, every dollar move in Apple is more, but Apple only moves $5 to $10 a day. At the most extreme, I would say probably about $10 a day. Tesla moves 50 to 100. So its volatility is higher, even though its market cap is lower. And what that means is it kind of impacts the market like an Apple, like a Microsoft. It has the same notional effect. It's the market cap weighted calculation here based around the stock's volatility. And that's why we look at it almost as much as tech. Tesla is not in the tech ETF. It's not a tech stock by the market's classification, but it has effects to the market similar to an Apple, similar to a Microsoft, just because of how fast it moves, especially on days like this, where it moves 100 and sometimes over 150 points in a single session. This was that initial topping pattern that Tesla advertised multiple months ago. So ultimately, we're in the throes of volatility. TLT is spiking. There's a fresh retracement breakout that's occurring today. We have a daily trend change that is starting to basically confirm. You'll see this on the short term. People are rushing into bonds. They're fearful. Common sort of effect. We did see some of that bottoming start to take place. There was a bit of a reversal signal here, the higher volume test, and then of course the lower volume rejection at the lows. So it was starting to form. The picture was there. This is sort of the tip to lead things into the breakout. Obviously, it looked more like a pullback before that, but location and positioning would have provided that opportunity. So short-term bonds are looking to be a bit of a fear trade. People are piling back into them. This is, of course, the 10 to 20 year blend of bonds and notes. Gold, obviously, still in its breakout condition. We're seeing momentum now that we're breaking over swing highs. These are multi-month highs, multi sort of retracement highs. The breakout's underway. 2000 likely to be short-term resistance, but I'm basically seeing this as the beginning of the ABCD pattern starting to form in gold, whether you're looking higher time frame or you're just seeing that the momentum is starting to pick up here. Bulls are starting to rush in. It's taking place in silver as well. More of a short-term signal here with the 200-day breaking bullish. A lot of people rushing into these particular products. There are other metals as well, palladium, platinum, palladium especially with some of the dynamics of Russia. That one's probably going to see a bit of a bull run moving forward. But just our key metals are quote unquote industrial metals, but some of our staple metals, they're definitely leading the charge here. So, and then last but not least, crude. Same idea here. This is a market that was starting to look a little bit toppy, but the opposite effect occurred, a breakout, the trend continuation, and now a little bit more short covering potentially, as I think most technicians would agree. This was starting to look like a resistance zone. Market was starting to stall here. People were positioning for the pullback. It didn't come. Geopolitical aspects are forcing this market higher. And we now have light sweet crude from the WTI is basically at $100 a barrel. So welcome to a new market. Welcome to higher inflation. This is where we are. Keep an eye on natural gas as well. Just kind of reiterating the same notions here. Looks like my platform's struggling to load this. Watch for this breakout over 5 once again. Bit more volatile market overall, but this one has the same effects of what's occurring. There's also discussion of what countries can ramp up natural gas production quick enough in the case of sanctions against Russia, and what does that look like for the U.S. moving forward? The supply-demand model is going to change, not only for the U.S. but also for first world countries. Anything in Europe, some countries more advantageous than others. So let's see, it's about 10 minutes over. At the end of the day, we'll probably call it a short session today. The reason being is normally I would open up the floor for particular stocks, particular setups, whatever it happens to be. A lot of people are looking at semis still. They're still relatively in play. Once again, understand today is going to be very heavily based on what the market's doing. Not only because of the dynamic here, but the breakdown, the weekly trend that's potentially about to confirm. We have to close our weekly candle below this level to see a weekly downtrend. The Nasdaq's in bear territory. We did it. We're at 20%. High to low, if I measure from the top, we're somewhere down here. We're in 20% correction territory. The Nasdaq's in a bear market. It's entering a bear market, as they like to say. This brings in new fear. People start to act more emotional compared to rational decision-making process. That leads to opportunity, but we need the signals. Don't just step in and understand that, just because we're down means we have to go back up. Gap down opens sometimes lead to low of day closes, basically sell-off closes. Sometimes it happens. And everything about this particular breakdown is lined up in a position of risk. We broke January 24th lows. We broke the expected move. We broke 6-month support. Everything about what just happened all lined up at the same location at the same time. This was a tipping point. So at the end of the day, if the market wants to recover, it needs to prove it to us, because everything about this breakdown is a risk. It's lined up in such a way that the dynamic of the market can carry us forward with stops, with hedging, with people who are fearful, people basically throwing in the towel, weekly downtrend, trend line breaks, everything is lining up at the same time. Know that that's happening on the high level. Think about how it affects your intraday trade today, how you're going to take that into account. If you want to trade small, trade protected, trade smart. If you don't want to trade, or if you think it's too much of a risk, it's understandable. I do recommend watching the market today to understand how it moves and some of the opportunity that you could have taken advantage of in the case where you're literally saying, I'm out. I'm going to just watch and basically see what happens. So no matter what you do, trade safe. We'll talk more next week. Obviously, stay rational, stay in control, and look at this market as a big risk factor. There's going to be opportunity. We just have to watch for it. We have to be patient. With all that said, my name is Jared. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. Best of luck today, and we'll see what happens the rest of the week coming into Monday. So talk to y'all then.
All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope that you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey man, hello. I don't know if I'll say good morning, but
Yeah. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
hanging in there. I'm doing all right.
Yeah, definitely not the best morning as you can see here. A lot of red in the screen this morning, and a couple of things in the green that obviously do well when the market is doing what it's doing. So we'll get into all of that in just a second. Let's see what we had yesterday on our list, guys. We had yesterday was a really good day. We had as far as intraday trading, a lot of good continuation. Facebook was on our list, continues to drop here. What
Somebody's at
is
your door.
yeah, that is my wife probably the motion coming off. Let me turn this off here. One second, guys. Here we go. There, perfect. You must have the same thing, Norm.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, guys. So here's Facebook continues to drop. Was a great short yesterday, as many stocks were, with the SPY kind of falling off a little bit yesterday. We'll talk about that in a bit. So was Apple. I mean, just overall weakness, guys, in the market as we saw yesterday. Look at Apple's sure. AMD had the same thing. I mean, the same story goes over and over in many of these tickers, except for DKG, which I did not pay much attention to. This one was actually pretty strong yesterday compared to the entire market. So we're not going to spend too much time there. We did spend a lot of time already covering the overall market with Jared this morning. But let's talk a little bit about the overall situation happening now and what to expect and how difficult, Norm, these type of trading days are for us day traders.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we get volatility that we want. Sometimes too much volatility can make things tough. Obviously, we've got Russia that invaded Ukraine overnight. Some people were talking about it just being a invasion of part of the country. It is appears to be the entire thing. In a massive campaign. So, um, yeah, I don't. We'll see. The market's obviously freaking out. Um, it's not like I mean they slow walked this thing for weeks. One could even say months for people in the know that really follow things. So I'm and we've been falling on it. I'm curious how much of this might already be baked in. I'm curious if maybe not today. Will some people come in, some big players come in and see this as a buying opportunity from a big pullback? Like I said, not necessarily today. We just had GDP come in. It was in line with expected, and then initial claims were a little lighter than expect, or a little better than expected. New home sales 10 a.m. So a lot of this is just going to be um, a lot of this is just we'll see how it goes from here to the market open and then throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Definitely going to be interesting. The volume is here, the volatility is there. We'll definitely have some stuff to watch today. Our list this morning, guys, as you can see, I mean, it is really all over the place. There are not many things that have their own catalyst. I know there's some companies like, I think, Moderna, mRNA. I think they reported this morning. I kind of heard that over the news, but everything's kind of being overshadowed by what's happening here with the market
Yeah,
with the
how
SPY.
how would you like to be a CEO with the earnings call today? And
Oh,
let's say you had great
yeah.
earnings, and I always hate that. I've not been a CEO of a public company, but
Hmm.
um, I have owned stocks that had earnings come out and completely
Yeah.
overshadowed by macro events. It kind of sucks. So
Yeah, it really does. So, again, I don't think there's a lot today happening as far as individual catalysts are going to make a big difference in trading. For example, as Moderna, mRNA, you see here, they had earnings. I don't know if the earnings were good or not. I'm not sure, but they're down 3.4 either way, right? So, um, let's look at our watch list, guys. We
Moderna
have a
came
lot
in
on
better than
here.
expected.
Yeah,
But
better. All right.
their guidance will mean a lot. I have not read into their guidance. I'm not a big
Hmm.
fan of trading mRNA.
Yep. Yep.
But everybody expects them to do well right now. It's what they're going to be doing moving into the future that really counts.
Yep. Absolutely. Guys, we'll do the top five here. We're not going to go into, obviously, this list is massive. Today's one of those days where you can actually just watch a couple of tickers you've been watching for the last, what, few months. I mean, Apple, Facebook, AMD, these are going to, they're going to get the volume and movement. All techs are down, obviously, right now. You can watch your favorite stocks, so they probably are going to move with the market. So Again, we don't have to look too far or going too crazy looking for tickers to watch today. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and link our trade ideas to our platform, and then we can go ahead and see what we got going on. We'll do the top 5 on both sides of the field, and then we'll take it over to the room, see what you guys have on your end. So starting here with Ozone, OZON. This one at the moment down 40%. We had this on our list yesterday too, I believe, right? I mean, this thing had
this is a Russian internet retailer that is going to be. I mean, YNDX, another one that's going to be just Russia based stuff. So
yeah, I just don't know how you trade this one, guys. It's very, very slim on volume right now. I think we'll find better things to trade. This thing is down 37%. Look at the way this is trading. With 122,000 shares traded, it's down 37%. I mean, this is just not something you want to be, at least I will not be touching. I'm not telling you what to do, but if you do decide to do this one, be very, very careful. YNDX also down here pretty nice this morning. Another a gap down here, 34% this time. Just getting crushed, right? And you mentioned this. This one is involved as well. Is getting hit pretty hard, right? I forgot what they do. You mentioned it yesterday.
It's an internet company.
Internet as well, yeah. So they're just getting destroyed
Russia.
this morning. So
Technically based in the Netherlands, I believe.
yeah, that's what confuses me because they're based in the Netherlands, but they're Russian.
Yeah, but they're Russian. It's
funky to say the least.
They do business differently over there.
Yeah. So also getting, I don't really like this one to begin with, even when it's not as in play as it is now. Just I'll put as a pause. I would love to see how things are going to affect this ticker that are directly affected by what's going on there, right? Obviously, the whole market is being affected, but these two are directly effective. OZON looks horrible. I won't be looking at that, but YNDX, who knows? We'll have to see. LMND, we've seen this before, gapping down 24% today. Doesn't trade very well, guys. I'm not a fan of these ones at the top of the list so far. Let's go down to Wayfair this morning. Now they are getting slammed. Did they have earnings or something? Yes, pre-market earnings, and they're down 21% today. I wonder how much is earnings, how much is market. That could be
they had some garbage earnings, so I think it's a 1-2 punch on them.
Gotcha. Wayfair could be a hit or miss, guys. We have traded them in the past on earnings, on when they have a catalyst. So today could be one of those days where it could be decent to watch. Got to be very careful. The spread, is that right? I know the spread is bad, but are we looking at $2 plus spread here?
Sorry, I'm on a different screen.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
that is crazy. I know their spread is bad. I don't remember it being that bad. We're gonna move this down. It's gonna get better at the market open, but still, that is pretty nasty right now on that $2 spread that we just saw there. So, David from Connecticut, spread is atrocious. Yes, but how about in the open? Does it get any better, or is it still pretty bad?
It's pretty rough. It can move like crazy.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that one, guys. Here's Fubo. Fubo also down nicely, 15%. It's funny, the ones that are down, in the double digits seem to have had earnings or some other news on top of what's happening with the market. This one had earnings last night, looks like here, and looks like that did not go very well. So they're down 50%. This one could be okay. They get good volume. They can trade very decent. We do have shares for sure. We'll add this one to the list today. They have their own catalyst on top of the overall market weakness we're seeing. KOD, this was just nasty yesterday. And if you guys paid attention to this, all the action, and we kind of talk about these stocks that drop down like this. I think this was down, like 50%, something ridiculous. And look at the market open, it just does nothing. You got the volume here coming in, but it just goes flat, really not tradable. And I expect today is going to be the exact same thing. I don't think you're going to get anything great out of that one today. And we'll do SoFi as the last one here. Then we'll take it over to what's gapping up. It's funny. I started with gapping down today. I guess kind of the theme of the whole market this morning. SoFi today, they are down 11%.
We could spend all day just on gap down stocks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. SoFi here, they're down. I don't see no news on these guys. They get earnings next week here. The first, I'm not sure it's dropping them even a little bit harder than everything else. So I'm going to add it to the list because I know you guys like this one. I'm not a huge fan of this one, but I will add it here. We'll keep a close eye on it. It looks good pre-market, guys. We do have higher than significant volume that they get in the pre-market. So I like that. I like that for today on their end. All right, let's see what's gapping down. What is possibly in the green this morning? INDO.
Oil.
And well, yeah, oil I think is gonna be right. Gold is gonna be up. What
Yeah.
is INDO? Is this
Oil.
energy company?
It was
Okay.
on the list, I believe, yesterday. Indonesian oil
Yeah.
company. There's a
Yeah.
lot better oil companies to pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
1.6 million share float.
This is extremely low float, guys. With a spread right now of almost 12 cents. I mean, that's massive for a $14 stock with that type of flow. So, again, it's just too risky to even trade for the way we trade stuff here. You can look at Oxy, right? They're not doing a whole lot right now. But I'm going to keep an eye on these guys. I think they can move. XOM is another one that actually has been moving pretty decent. Their daily has gotten a lot better over the last couple of months, last couple of weeks, really. You can see a difference in the daily chart starting in January. Right in here, you can see how better it looks. Slight higher volume than the past, but not by much. But you can see it's a little bit better, right, than this right here. Look at the gap up and down on every single day. This is no good. This is slightly better. Still not great, but just slightly a little bit better there. So XOM might not be a bad one for today. We'll put XOM on the secondary list there as well. All right, we have SJI. What is this? South Jersey Industries. Looks like a buyout. Not sure what is happening there, but doesn't look good. AG is gold, I believe, or silver.
Yes.
Silver.
Gold.
Yep. So
Or
again,
AG
these are
is,
these are all going to be in play. Going to see a lot of gold stuff
silver.
on here.
AU, it's right below it. That's
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah. So again, you can watch a number of these that are going to be in play. They're not great intraday trading tickers for me, but they're definitely all in here. More oil companies as well. You have Shell, CV. Not sure if CVE is an oil company. I know CVX is. I'm not
Yeah.
sure about CV. Yeah, it's all just mining oil companies in the. So only that does well during this time, as you
Evans
can
Nat
see here.
Gas.
Yep. So we pick a couple of there that look good. I'm going to stick with Oxy, and XOM actually looks pretty decent. And then I'm sure you guys will be watching some stuff. You call it out if you see anything great happening there. Again, they're not the best intraday trading stocks, but today's obviously not your normal day given what's happening with the overall market. So, Norm, anything you like on your end? I know we're probably going to be keeping an eye on some of the tech stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's my play for today. I'll probably keep an oil or two on there. See how that goes, and then just the Apple, Nvidia.
Yep. These have been Apple, Nvidia have been really good to us, guys. So I'm definitely gonna keep these on there. Already a great volume. Obviously some weakness with everything going on, but definitely both of these are gonna be a must on my list this morning. All right, let's take it over to the chat room. What do you guys like this morning? Again, we're not gonna go into too much here because the story here is obviously
Just throw
very
a
clear.
dart and hit something.
Yeah, exactly. Pick your favorite stocks that you've been watching lately, that you've been doing well, been able to trade them effectively, good price action, good volume, and I think you'll be all right. So we'll just look at a few, and then we'll check YouTube chat, and then we'll go to some questions maybe towards the end, kind of talk about the overall market a little bit more. Alfredo, Tesla this morning. Yeah, Tesla, man, look at Tesla's drop here. And Tesla has not been having fun for a while now, right? They've been a kind of small little downtrend here from 1200 now down back to 706. So their pre-market action does look really good today. It's very clean. 2.5 million shares traded, down 7.5. So yeah, that's interesting. That looks good actually. Apple, we do have Mr. G's giving us Lucid, another EV company. They're all pretty much getting hit today. Neo as well. They all have great volume too. Lucid, Neo, Tesla, all look very good. I'm gonna put one of them on my main list. Is between Lucid and Neo. I'll decide a little bit later. Lucid seems to be slightly better, maybe. I think Lucid could be a good one. I'll keep just one. I'm gonna keep Lucid on here. You know what? Although Tesla is also very active, I'm gonna take it off my list just to keep things a little bit fine-tuned here. Lucid's the one I like for today. And we could think about Neo and everything else there. Let's take a look at AMC this morning. AMC active down 9.6, 1.3 million. This could be good. I like their daily at an area of support that we had a couple of weeks ago. That could be interesting. AMC, we'll see what happens there. DKNG was one of the only stocks that were on my list that was strong yesterday. So today they're gapping down 6.8. I just don't know with this daily what you're going to get today. We had a good move on what's this? This was Tuesday. Good move yesterday. Today's a hit or miss. I'm not seeing anything great, and this daily now doesn't look great as it did yesterday. Yesterday was real nice pop there. Maybe a continuation today, but I don't know what you're gonna get out of DKNG today, P. So it'll be a hit or miss. I'm not gonna add it. If you hit the scanner, so if you're looking at it, throw it back out to us, and we'll take a look at that. I know Bitcoin obviously is down. I haven't traded that in a while. Look at Mara. Mara's pre-market
Bitcoin
activity.
is not down, by the way.
Oh,
Bitcoin's up one and a
the
half
coin's up.
percent, but it's been down overall the last few days.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So Mara, I mean, during this time in the pre-market, Mara had 1.5 something, 2.5 million shares, not 2.5, but like 1.5 million shares, well over 700,000. You're not getting that now. The pre-market actually is not as clean as it was. So I'm just not liking the way it's been trading lately, as I told you guys before. So I'll keep it off my list because of that. Let me just see the intraday trading. You know what? And we can't give this too much credit anyways. I'm just thinking about it now because you could have watched anything yesterday and you could have gotten this move here. So you can't give them that much credit. Neo, we have on deck, guys. I mean, we looked at. I'm gonna keep Lucid. Amir, I think that's the better one for me. Tunde, Allo, hello, goodbye, and you forgot Chow. So yeah, good. All right, what else we have here? I think we're pretty much set, guys. I'm gonna take it over to our YouTube chat. Let's see what you guys like this morning. We'll start with Richard. Richard, you're giving us LMT. I don't recall what this ticker is. Lockheed Martin. Oh man, they are.
I don't know why, but DAS is telling me Bitcoin's up 1.6%, and other things are telling me it's down 5.5%. So I don't know if there's something with my data or what. That's very strange.
What's the thing is BTC, right? Hashtag BTC.
Hashtag BTC. So I don't know
mine's just
what the
showing up too.
goofiness is there.
Yeah.
I don't trade Bitcoin.
Interesting. Yeah, me neither. I don't trade that. And the tickets I represent, that's some of the Bitcoin stuff, they have not been doing well. So LMT, Lockheed Martin, guys, an interesting company, but again, intraday trading this stuff is brutal, as you can see here. Look at the volume you're getting. Obviously, I think they make missiles and stuff like that. So this probably is a good time for them, unfortunately. But again, just look at this. How do you trade this, right? It's just not great. AMC, we have on deck already, so that's good. Neo, you're giving us PayPal. How's PayPal doing? I know they had a big gap down, and man, very similar to Facebook, they have not been able to recover at all, and especially not today. They're not going to do it today. Down 5%. As I mentioned before, guys, right? I have Apple, Nvidia, Lucid, Axie, and Fubo on here. If you like PayPal, you can watch PayPal. I mean, it's one of those days. Their pre-market action, not all that exciting, but their daily, very, very, very much exciting. Let's take a look at Facebook. What's going on here with Facebook? We are dropping 3.4. I definitely want to keep an eye on Facebook. I'm going to put them down here.
Got it on my list too.
Yeah, I'm going to put it down here as a possible, but I'll probably move it up. I'll probably take although Axie, I always in play, I think I'd rather watch Facebook, to be honest, on a day like today. And I think I'm going to do that. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? 6 is good. Let's keep it on there. But yeah, I think Facebook is a good one. Great volume. They are down 3.4 after this big gap down. I mean, I'm just shocked how much this thing has dropped after that gap down, as we mentioned yesterday as well. List. Where's list? No. Okay, you correct yourself. VIST. Oh, no. I mean, this is an oil gas company, right? It says it right up here. So maybe they're horrible pre-market action, but I think you can find better. That's my, personal preference and opinion. No, I'm not going to be watching that. All right, let's see what else we have, guys. I think we're pretty much set here. Bitcoin is down almost 5%. Yeah, we just mentioned that as well. Thank you for that. Ruben, SLB or how? Why those two? SLB?
Oil company.
Oil companies. Yeah, there's so many, guys. There's so many oil companies you can watch today. So yeah, pick your favorite one, put it on the list. I have Oxy here, and actually XOM2 is been pretty good. So I'll watch those two. Baba and Roku, and we'll stop there. We'll go to community events and announcements for today. Baba's nice. What's going on with them today? They actually went green this morning, and
earnings this morning. I believe.
Okay, Baba might be going to keep on our secondary list here. Man, look at their daily. Wow, they're just hurting. So I guess initial reaction, and then the follow through here this morning so far. So, Baba could be interesting. Let's put as a possible for sure, and then we'll look at Roku. I know Roku's another one that we're going to be keeping our eyes on as well. I don't know if today's going to be the day where we get something great on it. I think a lot that's might be overshadowed with everything else that's happening here. But good possible maybe. But I'm not sure if today's gonna be the day for that one. All right, guys. I think we are all set. Happiness, sadness. We did look at
PayPal,
PayPal. Yeah, we did look at that.
and
Um,
it's, I mean, pick anything.
yeah, you could pick PayPal. I mean, pick anything, but I'm gonna keep this one off for now. All right, guys, we're pretty much set here. Again, today, as Norm mentioned, just throw a dart and whatever you hit, you can possibly watch and and be okay with. So
Yeah, one of those days, man, and we've been through a chunk of them together over the
hmm
last few years, doing
yep,
this show and trading them together. And the key is these massive moves are easy to destroy yourself. I personally, I'll size down and can still make more gains than I would on an average day.
yeah,
But the problem is if you're wrong and you have the same size that you would trade on a random Wednesday, just pick out any random Wednesday of the year. If you're wrong, you're going to get destroyed. You have the potential to, at least. So
yeah. It's a very different type of trading day today. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well towards the end of it because we're going to be done early with our list, guys. Because it's today's list.
I wasn't commenting on what day of the week it was, guys. I was just throwing out a day with a Y that the market is open.
Exactly. All right, guys. Community events announcement coming up for the rest of this week and early next week.
All right. Just a reminder, especially for those of you that might sign up for a trial membership that we'll mention in a moment. Every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, you've got the onboarding class with Carlos, and that is open to everyone. And then immediately following that, we do the tech class. That is 8 p.m. on Mondays. Next week is Ed Martin, Average Joe Trader, talking about journaling your trades. Had Eamon's breakout webinar on Tuesday. It is posted. And then next week on Tuesday, 8 p.m., you'll have Peter talking about his lightning bolt pattern. Kratos webinar should be posted if it's not already. And then next week, Dr. Reed talking about avoiding the trading trance. That will be at the normal 8 p.m. time on Wednesday. Today is Mentorship Thursday. Unsure about the 11 a.m. session. Andrew has been traveling. I think he has reached his final destination. Don't know what he has planned for today or if anybody's covering that. My guess is somebody will at least be covering that. And then 4 o'clock, Ed with earnings trades, and 4:30 with his mentorship. 8 p.m. Eastern, you're going to have Thor with his mentoring session. Check out our free web-based replay simulator at stocktradingsimulator.com. Just launched some new features that I have not dug in them too deep. I was involved in some of the development thoughts and stuff on it, but I'm not going to say exactly what's in it, but I know some of it saves settings and such, so that'll be helpful for some people. But there were some improvements in it over the last couple of days, so check that out. And if you'd like to sign up for homework assignments, put your email in and you'll receive those. We don't sell that list or spam it. Speaking of that trial membership, if you'd like to, you can do the test drive. Go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll down about halfway down the page. You'll see that test drive now. Put in your info, use the promo code premarket24 to get a discount. It is a one-time payment. It does not recur. It will not charge you again. It is 7 calendar days, 5 market days in the room, and then it cancels. And if you'd like to get access to all the webinars I was discussing, the recorded versions from the past, the current ones, and the future ones, use the promo code LOVERS50 to get 50% off the Elite Annual Membership.
All right, Norm, thank you so much for that. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's get to our list here. Sorry, I forgot to switch the screen. Let's get to our list here and see what we have going on. Starting with, I have Fubo on here. They are gapping down on earnings. Let's make sure I remember correctly. Yes, earnings last night. So we're seeing the reaction to that now. I have Oxy here. It's one of the oil companies I'm watching, but I also have XOM on my secondary list. Their daily has been pretty good, actually better than Oxy's daily, I think. So we'll see. And normally these guys don't trade very well, but they seem to be doing pretty decent the last couple of days. So we'll be watching that one. Obviously, one of our favorite stocks, Apple, Nvidia, are on deck. You can watch a number of EV companies today: Tesla, Neo, and Lucid. I'm gonna keep Lucid on deck. Looks very active this morning, 1.7. But they all look pretty decent, guys. You can watch whichever one is your favorite and that you like. And I have Facebook here. They are also down 3%, and then they have 1.2 million shares traded. So definitely heavy volume in the pre-market this morning on Facebook here. And I just love this daily on it. I think that is going to be a ticker to watch in the next coming weeks, just the way this thing has been forming here and the way we've been dropping, guys. We dropped down 250 now to at 191, well below 200 here. So interesting stuff happening there. Okay, let's get to it. Fubo, we'll start here. Let's start in our 5-minute chart over there. Let's look at our pre-market low at the moment, 631, taking a nice hit today. They're down 14.7, almost 15. 720 is the high of our pre-market, and you are set towards the top, guys. Got plenty of resistance up here. Towards the bottom, 631. Let's see here. Man, we are all-time lows, or maybe have not been in here for at least 52-week low. That's for sure. And I think last time we were here, looks like 2019. So it's been a while. And at that time, this stock barely traded anything. I don't know if these levels are even that significant with no volume at all. See how this was, right? You trade the entire day here. You traded 5,000 shares. So we'll put it on here. 297, you never know. But at this time, these levels are not great. Now, if you look at our pre-market low, though, if you look at that, right, this here is somewhat holding. Let's get our Epic Pen in play here. So I'm not sure if traders are going back here and picking up these levels, but I don't find that to be just a huge coincidence that at 651, 650, you're having all this support happening here. This is a horrible daily, but you see that happening there. So who knows? Maybe. I'm just going to mark down 297, guys. I don't see anything that is worth marking down here. I would just go rather with the whole dollar numbers, $5.50, $6, $5. I'd rather go with that. I think that's going to have more weight than what's happening right here. This is just not enough for us to do anything there. So 52-week low, that is being set here at 631, 630. It's a pre-market low. We'll see where that goes from there. Decent pre-market activity, not great, but decent. 856,000, down 50%. Very weak today. Has been weak for the last couple of days, and obviously overall market weakness, and their reports was not great. So we'll see how that's going to play out when the bell hits. Looking very active as far as the daily. Here's Oxy, guys. Again, doesn't do much pre-market. So these oil companies are not great pre-market. You really got to wait for the market open to see the movement start to happen here. Obviously, they are going to be in play. A lot of them gapping up. Obviously, the only things that are gapping up is oil and energy companies, as you can see here. 3.8 this morning, and not almost 1 million shares traded. As far as levels, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, I got you covered here, guys. You can see how that's playing nicely, especially this pre-market high at 41.19. You see tons of resistance happening here at 41. So that's clearly a nice level for them. On a day like today, again, you want to have your levels. They're great, but just keep in mind that the way the market is moving, these levels, especially on oil, is going to be determined a lot more by just the overall movement of information today. So just keep that in mind. Here is Apple. Apple looking very nice, very active. Apple and Nvidia definitely are my 2 top favorites today. You could throw Lucid in there as well, but again, they're moving and kind of giving you the whole market sentiment right now. Obviously weak, down 3.8. 5.8 million shares traded. So heavy volume on this one today. 157, 158.10 high of the pre-market, 152.75 low of the pre-market. You have this one here too, this little drop there at 154. We'll mark that there. Pre-market, we kind of flirted with that a little bit for support. We're not able to hold that. Tried it one more time and still came under it. So That could be an area that we might want to have on deck. 154.84. Outside that, we're looking back here. We got a big moving average coming in here on Apple. That's your fifth. That's your 100-day moving average, right? So that's a big moving average coming in here around 132 looks like. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I mean, that's 151, excuse me, 151.70 around that area, and that's all you really need down there. That's going to be a big one if we can hit that today. We'll see. Here is Nvidia this morning, guys. Also looking very similar to what Apple is doing. Down 6.5. Low of the pre-market 205, 206 to be exact. Low of the pre-market, and then your high of your pre-market at 216.98. So 216.98 is your highs there. Towards the top, guys, you have plenty. Obviously, this thing has been kind of dropping down here nicely. And then you can see highs and lows just doing great levels of support, resistance. This previous day close also got a lot of touches on here as well. That is your low for yesterday also. So you have that listed there as well. If we were to lose this level, I mean, we're under, I think, all the moving averages at this point. Yeah, we're under the 50, 100. We're under the 200. We're under all of that right now. So the next level for NVIDIA is going to be on the daily. It's going to be this one here. Next major level, 196 and 196.47. And then below that, we have one all the way down here, 188. I don't know if we'll get there, but with the way this market is going, obviously with the news that's happening, anything is possible. It's not your normal day today, of course. Here's Lucid, guys. Low of the pre-market 21.24. Your high this morning all the way up here at 23.30. But I'd rather have some of this stuff right on here, right? This is where you have more action, more volume. So you keep that on there, that's fine. But I'm also going to mark down this 22.41. And the reason for that is because you kind of use that as support here. You try to hold onto that, then you kind of fell apart here. And then you come back up and you retest that, and that becomes support now. I mean, resistance. So that 22.41, good level to have marked there on your charts this morning. So Lucid, guys, very, very active this morning, 1.8 million shares traded. Here is Facebook. Facebook's, again, the exciting thing about Facebook is not the pre-market, it's the daily. The daily on Facebook was really exciting and interesting.
We've been talking about this for like 3 weeks, actually all month. Look at that. What was it? February 2nd, I think, when they reported. And then the next day it was down. And, like I said, it's on my list. I'm just waiting to see at what point it may bounce. What the hell would be if today was the bounce day?
Yeah.
That would be pretty crazy.
That would be insane. But yeah, definitely. That's what's interesting on this one, guys. You can find a lot of stocks that are going to have this pre-market. Yeah. The pre-market, you can find a lot of stocks that are doing this here, but the daily on Facebook makes it even more exciting to watch this morning. So as far as levels, you're set on this one. And then towards the bottom, let me just see when's the last time we were down here? I mean, it's been a while. I mean, was it with the pandemic maybe? Did we even get to it with the pandemic? Yeah, we did. Of course we did.
Yeah.
So we're going back to COVID levels at this point. I'm going to just mark down here 182 is the main level I see as far as on the daily. So guys, that covers our levels. Norm, I think you're going to mention something before we got to levels here.
Yes. Well, somebody asked why BP is like oil stocks are skyrocketing and BP is not. And I thought, it has to do probably with some of their assets. And I don't trade BP. It's a foreign company. But somebody, Hamish cleared it up that they own 22% of Russia's largest oil company, which would make absolute sense.
Yeah. That is not it's not good news.
Beauty of being in a community.
Yep. It's the best. It's the best. All right, guys, we are set. Our watch list again, pretty much Fubo, Oxy, Apple, Nvidia, Lucid, a couple of EVs you could look at today, and we have Facebook here this morning. So let's get to some questions. We can kind of talk about a few things, clear some stuff up like we just did there with BP. We'll love to do that as we have a couple of minutes left here. In the meantime, I'll look at AMD. And AMD, again, guys, AMD, you could watch AMD as well. Nothing wrong with AMD. I have Nvidia and Apple already on here. But yeah, you could definitely put AMD. Just for Peter, I'm going to put this as a possible here. Top possible for today. We'll keep Peter happy there. So not mRNA. Greg, mRNA is in play. They had earnings today. Oh, look, they actually managed to get into the green. Oh, very nice. This is actually very interesting for them here on mRNA. So maybe their guidance came out, Norm. I'm not sure. We don't really like trading this one. So as Norm mentioned, you didn't look into it
Some
as
people
much.
do. It's just not one of
Um,
my favorites. I mean,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
used to trade. I used to trade it too when 2020,
I
spring,
remember that.
summer
Yeah,
2020.
yeah,
It was a great trader, but just kind of, you
yeah.
know,
It's gotten very thin, and the
like an
spread it could be
ex-girlfriend now.
nasty. Yeah.
Couldn't, it just doesn't matter.
Um, but yeah, guys, this is looking very interesting today. And actually, might be a good one to keep a close eye on. I'm not gonna put it as a main one because I just don't like the way it trades, but definitely in play. Did not expect this here. We're up 1.6 on it and climbing. So I'm not sure what came out or what was relooked at in their earnings report that's causing this pop here, but obviously something very positive. Another CEO was on CNBC this morning. I couldn't listen because I had the kids going, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, as far as levels, though, you're set here too. I don't think you need to add anything besides some lows of the pre-market. If you look at where the price action is now, it's heading into those highs and lows in previous day close. So that's looking good. All right, let's get to some questions. Let's look at how long do you wait to get in a trade on after the market open today? You know what? I don't know
We're
the
all
exact
different.
yeah, the exact answer to that. That's hard to answer, but I'll tell you this much: you have to just, you have to wait for your setup. You gotta wait for your setup today. Don't. There's gonna be a lot of stuff moving fast, a lot of volume coming in on days like today. But sometimes your setup might not be there, so don't feel the need to jump in something just because things are moving, and that could happen a lot, especially to new traders. You're gonna see things moving pretty fast, and if your setup is not there, your strategy is just your edge. Don't take a trade. So
Yesterday was the choppiest day I've seen in a long time. I took a
mhm.
quick trade and made like pennies, relatively.
Yeah, yeah,
It was another 20, 30 minutes before I took another trade, before I waited for all that chop to work itself out. That
yes,
was ridiculous.
yes,
That was untradeable for like 20 minutes.
yeah. Who I got chopped up in the first trade too, and same thing. I made it, just made pennies on it. And I forgot the ticker, but it popped up. Then it became 30 minutes later. It became a beautiful short, right?
Um,
So sometimes, guys, waiting 15, 20 minutes, it's a good idea. Wait things
Depends
for it
on
to
the day.
settle down. You know.
It's
Um,
usually more like 15 or 20 seconds for me, but yesterday was
Yes.
different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not saying that's what I do, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a good idea. I'm the same. um, all right. What else, guys? What else we have? Just curious. Oh, hold on. This thing changed here. Just missed the
Asking, do we
question.
use Fibonacci's? No, I
No,
know I don't.
I
I've
don't.
never used Fibonacci's. There are
Mm-mm.
some of our people that look at them. I don't. Carlos, I don't think you do either.
No, I don't. I don't use Fibonacci. Again, just the moving averages we have, our daily levels that we put on there, and VWAP. VWAP is probably one of the indicators I
Uh,
use the most. So.
we'll say Thor and a number of the traders in the room, including myself, I take a look at them. Camaria pivot points, which are
Hmm.
pivot points that take into account fibs to some degree, from my understanding.
Hmm.
Um, and also, do you regularly trade inverse ETFs? You can. Frankly, because of the price levels on them, like you've got TQQQ and SQQQ, which is the inverse. I prefer to short TQQQ if I want to go short the Qs. That's just me. You could go
Yeah.
either way, but the price wise, I can take less shares, spend less in commissions to go short than I could go on long on SQQQ.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't. Frankly, I don't know. Those prices might be inverted this morning. They might have finally flipped. Yep. TQQQ
They flip.
4140 versus SQQQ, which is 52. So yeah, those have flipped. Look at that.
Yeah, doesn't happen often, but we're seeing it today, or now at least. Um, Today might be follow the money and see what the yeah, Chris. It's hard to explain. Just gotta be patient. You gotta be patient on today. And the one thing I'll tell you this is, you know, if you find yourself caught in the wrong direction, this is not a day where you want to see, let me see what happens, let me wait a little bit, let me give it more room. That's not that type of day. You can get it. Sometimes you can get away with that stuff on regular days, not today, because things can stay irrational longer than you can stay fluid in cash, right? So just be mindful of that when it comes to this type of day. Things can run very aggressively against you, right? It can happen any day, but more on days like this. So just be careful with that. I find reversals to be tough too on days like these, when
Sure.
the market moves so much. I mean,
Oh yeah, because it can go so far before reversal, or it can
yeah,
never
yeah.
reverse.
So I find them very
You find your
difficult
yeah.
to trade that there.
Can't let yourself get stubborn on reversals on a day like today.
Yeah, yeah,
And who knows? I mean, reversals might be beautiful today, but
yeah,
you just got to
yeah.
watch out because the elements are there for a potential nasty day. You haven't done
Agreed.
levels yet, have you?
No, they're done.
Oh, they are. We're
They're
just
done.
we're just hanging out.
We're hanging out, man. Yeah.
Oh wow, Gapper's list is longer than you know.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah. Levels are set. They're pretty easy because the levels today, right? Based on our drop here, for example, Fubo, all we had to do was two levels. Highs and lows got you taken care of, right? So a lot of stuff looks like this, right? Look at Apple, same thing. We got levels from a couple of days ago. So levels today were actually pretty easy to do. And I see some of our moderators coming in with their watches. Looking forward to see what our moderators will be watching today.
Andrew,
Um, oh, Andrew in the house. Hello
Andrew
from
from like the southernmost tip of South America.
yes, from like
Welcome. Hey, buddy.
the end of the world there.
Yeah,
Um,
he's having to hold on to Argentina so he doesn't drop off free fall from the globe.
yes, yes. Um, Guys, if you don't follow us on Twitter, do so at bearbutrators.com, and you can see some of the pictures that Andrew has put up of where he's located. So again, pretty interesting. Looking forward to see some of the pictures he'll post later, of the place, his climbing or whatever he's doing down there. All right, the world is flat. I told him, I texted him, can you check if the world is flat? And Norm said, make sure you don't fall off the face of the earth. So he'll let us know. All right, guys. Looking good so far. SPY at the moment. Let's see what's happening here. We are. Oh, there it is. SPY is just kind of sideways right now. Not a whole lot going on. Actually, after the drop, we really haven't, dropped that much after that, right? We had a big red day yesterday. Today we're down 2.3, but we're just kind of moving sideways. If you look at the overall big picture, we're not going up or down at the moment. So we might get some of that at the market open. We'll see. Also, you don't want to have a bias today, but just keep an eye on the news because whatever comes out, something negative comes out, can affect this. So make sure you have your Benzinga squat on, like we do in our chat here, provided for you. Just kind of listen in case something happens. Have CNBC, whatever. I think today, usually I don't have that running and pay too much attention to it, but today you might want to be cautious of announcements that can come up. So I'll
Stick to
be
your
mindful of
stops
that.
too.
Stick to your stops, guys. I know we keep saying
This
it.
is one of the it's so important on any day. This is one of the
Yeah.
days where it's even more important because if something comes out, if some news comes out that's just going to keep moving it against you,
Yeah. And for those on YouTube, you don't see some of the comments on here, but some of the comments of our members, and even Jared mentioned this yesterday when he was asked a few questions, not yesterday, this morning, even before he got on for the engineering the markets. He gets on a couple of minutes with our members in the chat. And he was, mentioning today could be a day where you don't trade based on your experience, where, if you haven't traded this type of environment, this type of market, maybe you don't trade today, right? If you're struggling with your discipline, struggling with your stops, you know yourself as a trader, maybe today's a trade that, you kind of sit back and just watch and take everything in, or maybe trading sim and see how you would have done, right? So very, very important to be extra disciplined on days like this, right? So that's key there. What stocks are we liking today? This is what we like. We like Fubo this morning. I like that one for the drop. I have Oxy here, not doing a whole lot. We'll wait for the market open on this one. Probably my favorite ones: Apple, Nvidia, Lucid, and Facebook. I like these here. I know there's many other stocks you can watch today, but I think these, especially Facebook, their daily has been great. Apple and Nvidia has been really good to us, guys. They've been trading amazing, especially Nvidia, which normally we don't say that. But NVIDIA has been exceptional to keep an eye on. We have Lucid today, one of the EVs that's very, very active this pre-market. So we'll see where that goes.
Ramin's asking, how can I use your sim to practice? Are you talking about Mike? Are you talking about stocktradingsimulator.com? Bearable Trader Simulator? Just go to stocktradingsimulator.com. It's easy as that.
Yep. And sign up for the homework there that Eamon is providing for you. That will give you some purpose instead of just trying to figure out, okay, what should I look for? you sign up for that. He'll give you some assignments for you to practice on, and you could take advantage of that. So, um, all right, guys, let's take a look here at some of the watch. Let's see, Andrew has his watch list together, so he'll be trading as well. Let's see what we have so far from our moderators lineup. Let me go ahead and resize this so I can bring this over. Over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. We're sitting at, what do we look like? 163 likes. We definitely can do better than that. I know we can easily do 250, 300 there. So we appreciate your help there, getting us to that 250 mark there. All right, watch list this morning. We starting with Peter. No IPOs for today. SPAC coming out this morning. You have that there. And then as far as his watch list, he's looking at AMD, Lucid, Oxy. Secondary list, UNG, Yandex, YNDX, which actually I have in my secondary list. Looks okay. Not a great trader, but looks okay today. SPY, of course, and Indo as well. Very, very active this morning. Dima is looking at Apple, Oxy, and the VIX. Tiffany's looking at NVIDIA, Tesla, Baba, and mRNA, which, by the way, mRNA continues to be up 4% now, 3.9. So that's good. Thor's look at the SPY, Apple, Facebook, NVIDIA, secondary list, mRNA, SQ, and AMD. Jared is looking at the volatility ETF today and some indexes. mRNA and Baba on his list. A secondary list is a cash position, which a smart thing to do there. All right, Russia attacked Ukraine last night. For those who did not hear, volatility is high. QQQs is hitting the most, getting hit the most, and also he'll be watching TQQs, Tesla, AMD, and NVIDIA. Again, just got very similar to what we have on deck here to watch. Your list could look completely different today. Today's a day you can watch almost anything that you like, and it'll probably be trading well depending on on how that stock is. So, all right, last one here. Brian coming in with his list: YNDX, DKNG, mRNA, TNA, and Boyle. Guys, with that said, 9:16, I'll hand it over to Andrew and Brian. They're going to be trading live this morning in the chat room. Guys, thank you so much over on YouTube for joining us this morning. Again, make sure today, we can't stress it enough, stick to your stops and be very disciplined on a day like today. And if you're going to trade, have great, excellent risk management. You want to make your money on the move and not on the huge number of shares you have to take to make that. So be very, very careful today. We can't say it enough. Take care, trade safe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow to end the week, 8:30 tomorrow with Norm and I. Have a good one, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.